Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking, all right? So shout out to everybody who's in the building early. It is good to see each and every one of you. If you guys can hear me okay, please give me a thumbs up or a radiation emoji in the chat. If you cannot hear me or things are looking kind of bad, which I know that they are right now, please give me a thumbs down or an angry face in the chat. On my end, for whatever reason, my background and my logo in the top right-hand corner are not showing up. I don't know if it's like that for you guys, but the background and the logo in the top right-hand corner are not showing up, but everything else looks good. So it is what it is. Maybe they'll show up at some point in the stream. Maybe they won't. Maybe I'll just start doing it like this from here on out, because actually this don't look bad, black on black. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to shout out everybody that's in the building early. All right. Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. Make sure y'all throw some like enforcers in the chat for Brooklyn Queen, enforcing the likes and enforcing the merch early. And if you haven't seen the new merch, take a look. Check out the new merch. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Unsunken One. Shout out to Scylla T. Shout out to Simo27. Shout out to my man AB Promotions. Make sure y'all show him some love promoting the channels. Throw some flames in the chat for my man AB Promotions. Shout out to Jesse Paris. What's good with it, bro? Shout out to AW1. Shout out to Late Not Last. Shout out to Deneen. Oh, you guys can see it. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's wild, because on my end, I can't see it. Okay. And you guys can see the background. I'm gonna pull myself down for a minute. Hold on real quick. Y'all can see the background when I pull myself down? That's wild. On my end, I can't see it. All right, bet. It is what it is. That's what's good then. All right, so what we're about to do now is we're about to take a look at this insidious, narcissistic campaign that Kamala Harris is doing, because all of the exposures, not the ones that have been recently exposed in the new interview that was actually tailor-made to handwalk her through the interview with a human support animal, you know what I'm saying? Aside from that, things that had been exposed before, it's wild, because now what you see in the mainstream media is the mainstream media are attempting to adopt all of these flaws and weaknesses that she has, all of these dents in her armor that have been exposed and are showing. And what they're doing is they're trying to sell that as a strength. It's really bizarre. They're trying to sell flip-flopping as changing your mind. It's just wild. They're trying to flip it and say that Trump doesn't want to debate. Never seen anything like it before. Never seen anything like it before. All right. So we're going to take a look at this first video. All right. This first video is a video not about this situation directly. This is a video, all right, from CBS, Face the Nation. And what it talks about is Biden's border crackdown. I didn't ever think I would hear all of those words in the same sentence. But there is a video that tries to claim that this very thing exists. Let me ask you guys this question before we get into that. How many people believe that there is a such thing as a Biden border crackdown? Me personally, if there was a Biden border crackdown, there would not be rumors of quote unquote Venezuelan prison gang Tren de Aragua running wild in Aurora, Colorado. This wouldn't be a thing in the national news, but it is. You know what I'm saying? It is, though. Also, I don't know if anybody's aware of it, but Chicago's debt is close to $1 trillion, or I'm sorry, close to $1 billion. Their budget debt. So at some point we might take a look at that if we get time. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to DeAndre. Make sure y'all throw some flames in the chat for DeAndre and do exactly what he's saying. Hit the like button, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. Also, please consider being a member. Shout out to No Longer Asleep, and shout out to Mastermind Hour. It's good to see y'all.
Former President Trump has promised to launch the largest deportation operation in American history, and he has blamed the Biden administration for a historic number of illegal border crossings in recent years. But those crossings have fallen sharply since the Biden administration implemented new asylum restrictions in June. CBS News immigration reporter Camila Montoya Galvez has more.
Hoy te deportaron de los Estados Unidos. You were deported from the U.S. today.
Sí,
this morning.
Hoy en la mañana.
In the morning. How are you feeling now? ¿Cómo te sientes ahora?
Pues estoy desesperado porque no sé qué voy a hacer.
You don't know what you're going to do.
We found that desperation is all too familiar in this border town, where scores of migrants are routinely turned away by the U.S.
We're in Nogales, Mexico. As you can see, the U.S. is just a few yards away in that direction. But for many of the migrants here behind me, it is now completely out of reach. They were deported just this morning from the U.S. under President Biden's executive order on asylum.
That order has shut down asylum processing between legal entry points at the U.S.-Mexico border, allowing officials to ramp up deportations of migrants crossing illegally.
And so you see dozens of people, families with children deported every morning.
Every morning. It's 24/7.
Dora Rodriguez crossed the U.S. border herself in the 1980s to escape the civil war in El Salvador. She comes to Nogales every week with other American volunteers to offer food and guidance to deportees in need.
You know, they don't even know where they're at.
They don't know where they are.
They don't even know where they are.
Or what to do.
Right. So we encourage them to go to the shelters, local shelters in this area, to get a bath, to take a good meal.
The Biden administration says the new measures are partly why illegal border crossings have hit a 4-year low. But according to Rodriguez, those policies mean people fleeing danger are being turned away.
They're fleeing violence from organized crimes, from gangs, hunger. So they're no criminals, you know, and they are yet punished by our laws. These people is traumatized for a lifetime.
You wanted to protect your daughters. ¿Querías proteger a tus hijas?
Rosales and her daughters had been deported that morning. She says her family fled their hometown in Mexico after a man started harassing her daughters.
Quería darle la explicación para mis hijos.
You wanted to explain to U.S. officials why you came, pero no te dieron esa oportunidad. You did not get that chance.
Nada.
Are you planning to potentially enter the U.S. again?
Now, look at this. They're talking about this is supposed to be talking about a quote unquote crackdown. But what this sounds like, I'm not, it is what it is. It sounds like a counseling session for sob stories. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. I mean, you're still doing something illegal. Like, what if you were hungry and you were in diabetic shock and you decided to steal food? Guess what? You still stole food. You can still get in trouble for shoplifting if somebody wants to prosecute you or take you up on charges because you didn't purchase the item that you took. Shout out to AB Promotions. AB Promotions said SBE. Facts. Heavy SBE. You know what I'm saying?
Sí.
Yes.
Por mí.
Migrant SBE. That's hilarious.
Because of your daughters.
Por mí sí. Arriesga uno por su
Pero
familia
te
todo.
pueden deportar otra vez. They can deport you again.
Lo sé,
You know
Shout out
that.
to Deformed Pretty Boy. What's good with it, bro?
lo sé. Pero hay veces que hay que arriesgar todo.
You're willing to take that risk.
A risk many will still take, despite harsher U.S. policies.
Okay, so they know the consequences. What that means is that this is a risk. This is a risk that I'm taking, and I'm taking this risk knowing, right? Knowing the consequence. Now, let me ask you guys this. If you take a risk knowing the consequence, what does that mean? That's my question. Let me know. You know what I'm saying? What does that mean?
Camilo Montoya Galvez, CBS News, Nogales, Mexico.
All right, hold on real quick, guys. Let me just put this other video up. So now we heard about the Biden policy. All right, so now what we're about to do is we're about to take a look at some comments that Trump made in regards to this at a rally. All right, and he warns voters at this Johnstown rally in Pennsylvania about MS-13. All right, now we haven't heard much about MS-13, but let me ask you guys this question. Does that mean that MS-13 is not still a threat? Let me know in the comment section what you guys think.
Mail-in voting. Jimmy Carter headed up a commission. By the way, the happiest man in the United States today is Jimmy Carter, President Jimmy Carter. My wife went to the funeral of Rosalind, beautiful funeral, like 8 months ago. And I looked at Jimmy. Jimmy's old, but he's happy. You know why? Because his administration is considered brilliant compared to this administration. Brilliant. He's a happy man. But Kamala called for the abolishing of ICE. Great patriots, tough as hell. Some of my friends are sitting right here. They're some of the toughest human beings I've ever met. They're not tough enough to be in ICE. They won't do it. These guys, they see a pack of MS-13 thugs that love knives. They love cutting people up better than guns because it's more painful. They killed 2 young girls in Long Island not so long ago. 16 years old, they were walking to school. They cut them up into pieces. They cut them up into pieces. They will go into a pack of MS-13 killers, our ICE guys. And for 2 minutes, you see nothing but fists and legs and fighting. A lot of the people like these young ladies from North Carolina, they're not into that. I don't know. I think they don't want to hear about that. They don't like to hear about people being cut up. They don't like to hear about MS-13. Have you ever seen MS-13? Typically, when you have tic-tac-toe boards on your forehead, it's not a good thing, right? they would go into these places and they would start fighting. And at the end of 2-3 minutes, it's over. And they would stand up and they'd take these thugs into paddy wagons and they'd bring them to hell.
Yeah, I would actually agree that knife engraved tic-tac-toe boards on your forehead is never a good thing. Your head should not look like how a flame broiled hamburger looks from knife wounds. If you guys agree with that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down.
A lot of our country, and they've got them out. And the problem we had, as you probably heard, was that the countries wouldn't take them back. Honduras, all of these, El Salvador, Guatemala, Mexico, but they wouldn't take them back. They wouldn't take them back at all. And when I came into office, I said, we got to get these MS-13 killers, and we had thousands of them in our country. They were set out by the countries where they came from, mostly those countries I just named. And a general told me, sir, we can't do that. They won't take them back. I said, why? Because Obama tried very hard to take them back. Barack Hussein Obama. Has anybody ever heard of Barack Hussein Obama? Remember Rush Limbaugh? Barack Hussein Obama. Rush, the great Rush Limbaugh, right? We miss Rush. We miss him. But they wouldn't take him back. And the general said, sir, they won't take him back. They put planes on the runway when we're about to fly in. They'll take their commercial jets, put them on the runway so he couldn't land. They'd stop up all the buses. So they'd bring them there and they'd have to turn around. Couldn't get them in. This for years. I said, General, how much money do we pay them in aid every year? Sir, I'll find out. So it comes in the fight. So we give them $7.
Shout out to you guys. You guys are killing it. We already got the 1-to-1 popping off. If you guys haven't, make sure you guys throw a 100 in the chat. Also, if you guys have not hit that bell and subscribe to the channel, take a moment, hit the bell, subscribe to the channel. Please share the stream to your social media and make sure that you guys tag somebody who you know that's interested in this type of information in your post.
$750 million a year. By the way, sounds like a lot. That's peanuts compared to what we give them, but it's still a lot of money. Sir, we give them $750 million. Okay, you let them know that effective immediately, they're no longer getting any foreign aid. They're no longer getting any help. No more help. So the time went by and I came into the office the following morning, nice and early, which I do. And what happened was very amazing. All three countries, these three countries called me, the heads of the countries.
Look, these are facts. Remember Stephen A. from yesterday? These are facts. Kamala wants to decriminalize the border crossing. Then what? Then build a wall. Hey, is that facts? She wants to decriminalize border crossings, abolish ICE, and build a wall. They should call her Do It All Kamala. Would you guys agree? Do It All Kamala is the perfect name for her because she wants to do it all. She wants to do everything. She wants to be a Democrat. She wants to be a Republican. She wants to be every race that there is. She wants to do all policies, which is one of the reasons probably why she hasn't written any down or posted any, because she just will act like she's at a buffet and take a little bit from each plate and make her platter of policies with it. She wants to do it all. She's a superhero. You know what I'm saying?
Sure, there seems to be a problem. What? Is there anything I can help you with? I heard you're very disturbed about us. Yeah, you're sending over in the caravans your thugs, your killers, and your MS-13 gang members, and you're not letting them come back.
Now, here's my question. If thugs, quote unquote, and killers, right? Shout out to John Guillory and shout out to Real Women Don't Do Nonsense. If quote unquote thugs and killers are not coming over here, my question is, how is there such a large concentration of Venezuelans here that a large and threatening presence of a prison gang called Tren de Aragua was able to form here in the United States? How did that happen if those are not some of the people who are being sent over? Can anybody explain that? Yeah, shout out to Deneen. She's saying, I'm every woman. It's all in me. That's why I ain't wrote no policy. That's what she said. She's going to be every woman. She's going to be a Democrat woman. She's going to be a Republican woman. You know what I'm saying? She's going to be a progressive woman. She's going to be them all. Whitney Houston. You know what I'm saying?
Back into your country, and we're bringing them back. If we have to do, I don't give a crap what we have to do. We're bringing them back. Sure. Please, sir. We would be delighted to take MS-13 back. They're wonderful individuals. I said, does that mean you're taking them back? Well, sir, I understand you're no longer making payment to us. They said, that's right, and you'll never see that money again. You better open up. Sir, we would be delighted to take them back. All you had to do is ask. 10 minutes later, I get a call from another, the exact same conversation. Could have put it on tape, it would have been identical. Sir, is there a problem? Yeah, you're not taking your criminals back that you sent into our country. We would be delighted to do so. And we took out MS-13 by the thousands and thousands and thousands. And now they're probably all coming back through this weak and pathetic administration that we have. Kamala has provided deportation immunity to the vast majority of criminal aliens. Immunity meaning you can't get them out. Living inside the United States, she's importing MS-13 gang members back into our country. Nothing's going to happen good with MS-13 gang members. And they're going into our high schools, and they're going to class in the high schools, and they're...
Trump's still stuck on MS-13. I don't know if you're aware. They got other gangs now. They got Tren de Aragua taking over apartment complexes, allegedly, in certain states in the United States. Heavy presence. They put the green light on the police. You know what I mean? He's still stuck on MS-13. That's stuff that was going on back when, around the time when him and Barack Obama was presidents, during that little period of time. It's new stuff popping off now, bruh.
Accosting our kids. They're rough kids. These are rough ones. We are being conquered in a certain way from within. If you think about it, like in Colorado today, Aurora, they're taking over the city.
There you go.
They're taking over. They're going.
There you go. So now what's interesting about this, okay, so you hear Trump sitting up here saying, quote unquote, they're taking over the city in Aurora. They're taking over the city. Now you guys see other officials in the state like Mike Johnson and Jared Polis are coming out and saying that that's not the case. And they also have their police co-signing that when we actually have videos. So again, this is one of the reasons why I say we are officially and truly in the post-truth era, because we have seen videos of this stuff. I've done multiple live streams about this stuff. YouTube is taking forever to approve the monetization on all of my streams. I got like 8 streams for y'all waiting to be released that are no longer live that YouTube has yet to monetize. That was done like on August 28th. You know what I'm saying? Most of them about this. They're telling you to not believe the things that you see on the camera. Shout out to my man Jesse. What's good with it, bro? Jesse said he's in Aurora, Colorado right now. You know what I'm saying? And so what they're doing is now they're going to say that all of that stuff about Aurora and that those apartment complexes, they're going to associate it with quote unquote right-wing misinformation. Now that you see Trump up here saying it, just wait, it'll happen. You know what I'm saying?
Going in with these massive guns, AK-47s and others, AR-15s, if you ever heard of that one. But they're going in and they're taking over our cities. You watch what's going to happen. We have hundreds of thousands of these people in certain of our cities. And if you think they're going to behave, they're not going to behave. These are rough people. These people came from rough places. And they're just sort of getting acclimated now, right?
Shout out to Jesse. And that's facts. Jesse says North Aurora is full of immigrants of all kinds, not just Venezuelans. And that's facts. Big facts. And again, shout out to AB for putting the links in earlier. If you guys haven't checked out the videos on Undocumented, the channel called Undocumented, we were one of the places that we're covering and talking about Colorado way before anybody else was talking about Colorado. Everybody else was focusing on New York and focusing on Chicago because New York and Chicago was what was hitting in the algorithm. There's all types of other places that are going through migrant issues as well. One of them is Roxbury, Massachusetts. Others of them are in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? There's places all over. St. Louis is about to have some issues. These things are happening all over the place. The mainstream media is being dishonest about it because they're politically, they're politically aligned, right? And people on YouTube are dishonest and biased about it because they're algorithm aligned. You know what I'm saying? So, there's that.
They're getting acclimated. And now they're finding out, gee, we're not allowed to, the police aren't allowed to talk rough to you. The police gets arrested. I mean, if the police people do their job.
So now you got to pay attention to Trump being a slickster, because now what Trump is going to do is just, yeah, you know, like this is why they don't need to ever get in trouble for anything. Yeah, go ahead and talk about the police, Trump. And when you talk about the police, make sure that you talk about that the police cannot handle Venezuelan prison gangs. But when a Karen calls the police on Elijah McClain, the police and the EMTs will come and assassinate that person so that they can't make it to court. Make sure that you put that out there. I see what you're doing. Just make sure that you put that out there. Since specifically we're talking about Aurora, Colorado now. But I guarantee you Trump's not going to do that, which is why Trump is not anybody's golden egg. You know what I'm saying? Now, you know, he might be golden brown like a burnt piece of toast out of the oven, but he's not anybody's golden egg.
They end up losing their pension. They end up losing their families. They end up losing their house, their car. And they're learning this, these guys. And wait till you see what's going to happen. But it's already been happening. They've killed many, many people.
All right. So, see, I was trying to get that right at the end, but I didn't get it. But it's all good, though. All right. So now check this out, right? Do you guys remember? I'm going to let you guys listen to this, right? This video right here, believe it or not, it came out 5 hours ago. And we said this a while ago. All I'm going to say is just, if you haven't watched any of the old live streams, you have to watch all of the old content to get where you are today. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you don't agree, then give me a thumbs down. It's kind of like an episode of Walking Dead. Like, my channel is like The Walking Dead, except for nobody here is Walking Dead. We're all very much alive, and we're sprinting. You know what I'm saying? Not walking, right? You can't just come in on the part where they're fighting against Negan and understand the entire series. You got to watch all the way from part 1. You got to watch all the way from part 1, or you'll be doing yourself a great disservice. Why am I saying that? I'm saying that because I want to ask you guys, does this sound familiar? And remember, this just came out 5 hours ago. Now, remember, you know, my stuff probably came out about 5 days ago. I'm saying.
The Trump campaign says Kamala Harris is looking for an out with just a little more than a week to go until their first debate.
I think that the Harris campaign is looking for an escape hatch. They refuse to accept the terms of the debate, which, again, everyone had already agreed to it. We'd agreed to it. ABC's agreed to it. The rules are the rules. They're not changing. But Kamala Harris and her campaign, they're afraid.
So this issue of the debate possibly not occurring as a result of Kamala Harris and her team having issues with the terms of the debate is resurfaced itself. Now, if you ask me, they don't have any issues with the terms of the debate. That's not the problem. They have an issue with confidence in Kamala Harris's competency to be able to perform in the debate, where she doesn't have an emotional support animal with her, an emotional support human. I don't know if you guys have seen the little pink fuzzy wuzzy teddy bear that has been popping up on some of my thumbnails. But in case anybody was curious, his name is Tim. Okay.
Why? Because she's going to have to answer for every bit of this last 3.5 years.
A president of District Media Group and fellow at Independent Women's Forum, Beverly Hallberg, joins me now. Beverly, cut through all the noise in this. This has been going on for weeks now. Will they? Won't they? This thing, that thing, Mike's not Mike. What's the deal? What's really going on here?
Well, we're going to have to wait and find out to see what she actually agrees to. But I think.
Shout out to DC Precise, bro. That's facts. You guys throw some flames in the chat for DC Precise. And those videos, they're either still up or they're on members only. Shout out to FBA Built America. What's good with it? Yeah, I don't know if you guys haven't seen the little pink teddy bear, just in case anybody was curious. Oh, he's so cute, but his teeth are so sharp. What's his name? Just so anybody, so you can address him properly. So, you know, because, you know, you get in a lot of trouble when you don't address people like that pink teddy bear the right way. It can be big consequences if you don't address them people with the right identification. His name is Tim.
The way the Harris campaign is running the campaign is very reminiscent of how Joe Biden ran his basement campaign strategy 4 years ago. It seems that what Democrats want to do is keep Harris out of the spotlight as much as possible. Anytime she's not around the teleprompter, they want to keep her quiet. I mean, look at the data so far. She has not done a solo interview. She has not held a press conference. And now a debate, which are the same rules that Joe Biden agreed to during his CNN debate, she seems to be having cold feet.
Now, here goes my thing. And this is what we asked about, right? We got to look at this from an analytical standpoint. We saw her bomb, right? We saw her bomb an interview that was constructed for her ease and to focus on her to make her shine, right? That was the case. Like, basically what happened was they put her in the slow class and gave her a cheat sheet. Would you guys agree? That's the scenario. And somehow she still managed to get a D-. Listen, I'm going to be honest with you. If you are in the slow class, it's politically incorrect nowadays to call it the slow class, and you use a cheat sheet and you get a D-, you might want to talk to the guidance counselor. You might want to try some different kinds of education, because what's going on where you're getting your education, it's just not working. It's not working. And see, that's the scenario that we just witnessed with Kamala Harris. She was in the slow class, open book, and had a cheat sheet, and still got a 60%. That's really bad. That's really bad. Joe Biden, we saw his brains melt live. Shout out to Shatera. We saw Joe Biden's brains melt live. I don't know how much assistance he had up there, but I think it was perceived that, he might have been an old man with a walker and a pacemaker and a diaper on, you know what I'm saying? But I think he was up there, like, trying to fend for himself. It just looked like an old man walking on ice. If anybody's ever seen that, not a very good sight. You know what I'm saying? But that's what was going on, though. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what to say about this Kamala Harris situation, because she's not an old man with a diaper on. She might have a diaper, I don't know. But she's not an old man, though. I think we can say that with 100% certainty. Right? So how you bomb a card-stacked event is beyond me. And why you would pick someone who's capable of bombing a card-stacked event is even further beyond me. But that's the scenario that they've put themselves in, that they're dealing with now. And they're using silly, projective tactics to try to avoid these realities that we're seeing in real time. If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down.
And so I think this is going to be hard for her team to say that she's not going to do this debate when Joe Biden did it himself. And I think the American people are going to demand this debate, but it shows the cold feet for a good reason, because I think they honestly see that she's struggling to be able to stay on message. And it's also about the optics. Is she optically going to have the type of not just substance, but style that she needs?
Great question. Trump explaining why he thinks VP Harris will only do this debate on one network, that network, ABC.
But that's the only one she'll go to. Now, the other one is the head of ABC is her best friend and her husband's best friend, too. And I had to make a decision. Do I want to debate? I'd like to debate him.
Yeah, to be clear, what Donald Trump's talking about, he is commenting on reporting that a very, very high-level executive at ABC is very close friends with Doug Emhoff and Kamala Harris. So
Now, that's interesting. How many people were aware of that? I mean, it's not really surprising given the quote-unquote elements surrounding that situation. Right? But, okay, it's cool to have heard about it and to have known it. Now, let me ask you guys this question. If you have a business and that business has a direct link to being friendly with a family member of yours, let me ask you guys this question. Can we bring up the question of a conflict of interest? Shout out to Deformed Pretty Boy. Deformed Pretty Boy said, bro, can you see her? Can you imagine seeing her talk to a dude in Iran? Yeah, I can, because I've seen those videos of what goes down with a lot of them people talking to them people in Dubai. So it'd probably be along those lines. It'd probably be along those lines. You know what I'm saying?
with that in mind, to Trump's point, can voters trust ABC to be right down the middle and impartial in this debate with all of America watching?
Well, this is where America will call them out if they're not. Now, I do think that there's always bias when you deal with legacy.
Now, I doubt this. I highly doubt that America will call anything out. I think that there's a small percentage of us who will, observe these things, and a small percentage of us who will call these things out. But it's difficult for us to be able to verbalize these things and to actually be able to talk about them and discuss them on an open forum where they need to be talked about, because everybody's living in a dream world. Like, nobody wants to look at reality. And what substantiates that dream world is that you have the mainstream media and the big tech companies. Mark Zuckerberg just recently admitted that he was complicit in Biden administration censorship and silencing. If they don't like what you say, they can basically make it illegal to say it. You saw what they did with the Hunter Biden laptop story. You saw what they did with C-19, right? Sir, you had to talk around those things in certain ways. It's almost as if you're talking about them people that Kanye West had a problem with, and we're just applying the protections of those people that Kanye West had an issue with to just whatever we want to apply it to get people to stop talking about it, which is interesting because, speaking of those people, that happened to be that person that Kamala Harris is married to, that's related to them people, or that's friends with them people that are at ABC. Isn't it interesting, the 6 degrees of the 6 degrees of separation, if there's even such a thing? You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody that's watching. I appreciate you guys. We got 57 people watching it. We got 65 likes. If everybody could take a moment, smash that like button, and try to get us to 110, that would be great.
Media. It is not a shock to the American people that ABC is not friendly toward Donald Trump and his policies. But I give Donald Trump a lot of credit where he says, I'm willing to go wherever I need to go to debate Kamala Harris. And again, it's putting a spotlight on someone who seems afraid to debate him. And so I think he's putting her in this tough position of having to say yes. Again, it's the same rules that Joe Biden agreed to. Why won't Kamala Harris agree to those same rules? I think at the end of the day, we're going to see her next week on that debate stage. And I think the rules are going to stay as is.
Let's create a hypothetical here. Neither party can really claim victory on September 10th at 11 o'clock once the debate is over. Both sides claim some sort of victory. Basically, what I'm saying is it's not a bloodbath like June 26 when Joe Biden and Donald Trump debated. Do you think they do a second debate?
I don't think so at this point. I would love more debates. I'm always going to push for that. But I think this is what both candidates need to accomplish. Now, for Donald Trump, who is very quick on his feet, I think he has to be careful about looking like a bully towards Kamala Harris. Stick to the policies, leave the personal insults alone. Let Kamala Harris bury herself. Now, on Kamala Harris's standpoint, she cannot have word salad. Shout
out to AB. We got to take a break for the perpetual 50. Throw some hashtag 50s in the chat. Throw some hashtag 50s in the chat.
This is the hardest record out.
Hey, did it play? See, I'm having some issues on my end. Did it drop play? Let me see. I'm gonna try it again real quick.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly.
It play? Okay, yeah. So it's playing for y'all. It ain't playing for me. That's what's up.
Has to seem commanding. And even in her recent interview with CNN, where she had Tim Walz on her side, the eye contact was poor. There was hesitancy. She has to come out in a commanding way. And I think if she doesn't, this could be really bad for her. I don't think it's going to be as significant as the Biden debate, but I think this could seal the deal for whether or not people think Kamala.
I think that this is actually more significant than the Biden debate. And the reason why I think that this is more significant than the Biden debate is because they replaced Biden with her. And what's interesting about it is that as actually handicapped as Biden was, it didn't, he had his normal, support system from the Democrats and all that, but it didn't look like he was really looking for or needed much extra support. Kamala Harris, the whole idea is that, she's the younger candidate and all of that, and she needs the handicap. She's not handicapped, allegedly, but needs the handicap. Like, it don't make any sense.
Kamala Harris is competent enough, especially in communication, in order to be president.
So if we remember back to what we're calling the Biden debate, soon thereafter, actor George Clooney wrote an op-ed basically calling on Joe Biden to step down, and he was questioned about it. His answer, curious. Listen.
I've actually never had to answer that question, so I suppose I'll do it here. The person who should be applauded is the president who did the most selfless thing that anybody's done since George Washington. And that's
except Beverly.
Let me ask you guys this question. First of all, I don't think George Washington is selfless at all. George Washington is a slave-owning scumbag and a thief. You know what I'm saying? You could put that on your dollar bill and sniff it. You know what I'm saying? But my question is, do you all agree? So let's just act like somebody is actually selfless. Like, right? Let's not act like we're talking about somebody that didn't bathe for 3 months and owned slaves, like a true degenerate, right? Let's act like we're not talking about that. Let's talk about somebody that actually is selfless. Like, let's say like Malcolm X, right? So would you all compare Joe Biden's action of stepping down from being a president to somebody who was a true selfless American hero like Malcolm X? If you guys would, give me a thumbs up. If you guys wouldn't, give me a thumbs down.
George Washington didn't have an op-ed from a popular actor at the time demanding that he step down. Where's the shame in George Clooney, Beverly?
It really is quite rich. And I actually view this as typical bullying tactics. Here you had George Clooney, who didn't do this on his own. I don't think he wrote this op-ed. He had ghostwriters. I think he had Democrats behind him, put an op-ed out forcing Joe Biden to leave, as well as other Democrats forcing him. And I think the deal they gave him was...
Now, I want to understand this. How is it in America that an actor can put out an op-ed, right? Value chain, right? Throw the chains in the chat. Value chain. We're going to talk about the criminal migrant value chain tomorrow. The value chain, right? How is it that an op-ed media piece, I believe this article went into the Washington Post, how is it that something from George Clooney can make a sitting president say, I don't think I'm going to run next year. I'm going to hand it off to you, Kamala. Really? An actor? Who, again, they've been asking this since Joe Biden's been in office. This right here should have even more people asking this, if you ask me. Who's running the actual country? Let me ask you guys this question. Is campaigning or being the president a more difficult task? Which is the more difficult task? The actual campaign or actually being the president? Which one is the most difficult? Which one has the highest level of difficulty? Why am I asking that? I'm asking that because campaigning takes less time. Campaigning more than likely could not get you in a situation where there could possibly be a nuclear confrontation. The presidency can. If he's not competent to campaign, how is he competent to be the president? Again, I've been asking this question for quite some time now. Somebody make it make sense. Somebody make it make sense.
If you do this, we are going to praise you. We're going to talk about putting you on Mount Rushmore. We're going to call you selfless. We are going to make comparisons to George Washington and being the best president who ever lived. I think this was his concession prize, so to speak, by actually caving to their bullying tactics. Again, I don't think the American people buy it. Most people see it for what it is. But apparently with Democrats, they still go on with the same narrative, whether or not it's true.
George Washington didn't spend 16 straight days at a beach. George Washington's experience with water was crossing the Delaware and basically winning the Revolutionary War. Beverly Hallberg, we appreciate your time. Have a great Labor Day. We appreciate you.
Yeah, that's a similar experience that many migrants have, quote unquote, crossing waters. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. It's funny how some people are talked about in certain, with certain media slants, and other people are talked about in other ways with certain media slants, which is one of the reasons why our media is so doggone important. Because who wants to sit there and listen to somebody sit there and talk about a wooden-toothed degenerate who actually is such a patriot that on his tombstone it has Freemason before president? Who actually wants to listen to somebody like that get hyped up because him and his cohorts provided people like that with a built-in advantage in this country and a gaslit reason to be arrogant for no reason? Me personally, it's just not something I like spending my time doing. It's just not something I like spending my time doing. I like to drink Ciroc. I like to go kick it. I like to listen to loud music. I like good food. I like hot weather. I like palm trees. Don't like that. That's that stuff I don't like. You know what I'm saying? So let's check this out real quick. What we got here is a video of Democrats attempting to defend Kamala Harris's quote-unquote flip-flops. Believe it or not, they're going with this new phrase, this new talking point. I might actually have to make a shirt of this. I might have to make some merch. And if y'all haven't seen the existing merch, check it out. but I might have to make some new merch. And the new merch might have to say, flip-flopping is the sign of a good leader. That's what it might have to say. Why is that what it might have to say? Because that's what the media is saying. That's what the media is saying. Now, let me ask you guys this question. Because you know that's what I do. I sit up here and turn on my live stream and just sit there and ask rhetorical questions all day because it's fun, right? Does flip-flopping make you a good leader? Let me know.
Harris will be out on the trail today speaking with labor leaders in Michigan before she joins Blue Collar Joe in Pittsburgh for a rally. And her running mate, Tim Walz, will be in Milwaukee speaking with union members at Labor Fest. But several unions, including the Teamsters, still aren't endorsing the Harris-Walz ticket.
From what I understand, and I'm not sure, I haven't had a chance to sit down and look at some of the new polling data, but apparently, according to the polling data, it doesn't look like she's doing well in those swing states. Now, as far as math goes, what we expected, that was exactly what we expected. And the reason why we expected was because Robert F. Kennedy had a decent amount of votes, a little margin that was just enough to change the trajectory of the lead. And since he dropped out and endorsed Trump, it would make sense to assume that probably more than half of his people went with Trump, which would probably give Trump that slim margin that he would need to have him doing pretty decent in the swing states. If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down.
We want the opportunity to sit down with Vice President Harris. I mean, I said to someone the other day, you don't hire someone unless you give them an interview.
Janelle King is the co-chair of Let's Win for America Action, and she joins me now. Janelle, by September, you would assume that the Democrat Party and the people running for president in that party would have locked up all the labor votes by now.
I get scared when I see a black person on Fox. I never know what's going to happen. I get scared. I get scared when I see a black person on Fox, man. Let's see what's going on with this lady here.
But not yet with the Teamsters. So I'm going to flip the script here. What are the chances that Trump snags the Teamsters endorsement? And if he somehow does, what does it mean for Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan?
Yeah, I think that the possibility of President Trump snagging them is pretty high right now because there's no need for labor unions when there isn't any labor, when there is an opportunity for anyone to grow economically or to work. And that's where we're standing. At this stage in the game, Kamala is going to have to come forward with the details of her plans. At this stage, we are no longer open to these wishful thinking and just all of this messaging that's supposed to make everyone feel good, but doesn't have a strategy as to how it's going to actually create the plans and actually create the economic stability that this country needs. So right now, they're looking for answers. They need something. They have to go back to their people and say, yes, this is a person you can count on who's going to ensure that, one, you continue to work, and two, that your wages are at a stage where you can take care of your family.
And obviously, we've been detailing the butterflies and rainbows around Kamala Harris, it seems, over the course of the last 40-plus days since she announced. But when you listen to the Democrats' answers trying to defend her flip-flops, you can hear they're not all on the same page, and it's kind of a mess. Listen.
Look, I'm not.
Now, we're gonna go into this defending of the flip-flops. All right, we're gonna go into this defending of the flip-flops because here goes my question: How do you defend flip-flopping? How do you defend it? This is YouTube. This is the place where flip-flopping gets defended. So this is the perfect place to ask this question, if you ask me. How do you defend flip-flopping? How do you do it? Somebody give me the nomogram for flip-flop defense. Show me how it works. Show me the interventions. Show me how it's effective. Show me the decision path. Show it to me all. Show me all of it. All right. Shout out to everybody watching. I appreciate you guys. We got 64 people watching and we got 76 likes. If everybody could take a moment, bang on that like button. Let's try to get it to 150. Let's go.
Here, they're not all on the same page, and it's kind of a mess. Listen.
Look, I'm not the vice president of the United States, and I do think that when you are representing the whole country, you have.
Yep, and it's going to be somebody that sounds like the gingerbread man on Shrek that says it. She's not flip-flopping. She's evolving. Stop being mean to her. I sense you getting violent. Like the Fuzzy Wuzzy police in full effect. The Fuzzy Wuzzy Gestapo. You know what I'm saying? They're going to love you till it hurts.
Have a different perspective. Her values, though, have remained consistent.
I think the vice president is consistent on the position on fracking. It's exactly how Joe Biden ran. Is she as progressive as me or Bernie Sanders or others? No.
Okay, so we literally saw the video with them put right next to each other of her interview that she had on CNN versus where she was at that, I don't know if that was a rally or what, I don't know what that event was that she was at, where she said day one ban on fracking, if I'm not mistaken. So what from watching those two things would make you think that her position is the same as Biden and that it hasn't changed? Like if I say no in this instance, and then to the same question, I say yes in this instance, how can you sit there and say your position hasn't changed? Are you talking about the position as far as like me standing up, me being perpendicular to the ground? Is that the position that you're talking about? Like, what position are you talking about?
But she is moving in a progressive direction.
Well, look, I think it's a sign of a good leader that they learn and evolve over time. What she acknowledges is what most Americans acknowledge, is that there's not a one-size-fits-all solution for healthcare.
Hey, look, those answers all over the place. Can the swing state voter who's listening to
those answers are all over the place, man. Those answers are all over the place. And listen, what's wild about it is those answers are all over the place the same way Kamala Harris is all over the place, man. She is all over the place. She is everywhere and nowhere at the same time. She's a ninja. She's a ninja. She's everywhere and nowhere all at the same time with concentration. You know what I'm saying? How does she do it?
that really see through those answers and get at the truth?
Yeah, absolutely. The problem that they're having is that they're expecting us to remember things from 4 and 5 years ago, when we need you to remind us. We need you to tell us, where did you stand on this? Why did you stand on that? And what are you going to do going forward? That is what people are looking forward to. Unfortunately, we as Americans have not had the luxury of just sitting around and listening to her cackle or all of her messaging, as well as Biden's messaging. We've only had to focus in on how we're going to take care of our families, put food on the table, continue to maintain our jobs. I mean, all the other increases that have happened. So we need a reminder, refresh us. You know, don't just say her stance is still the same as.
Oh man, shout out to AW1, man. Oh man, hey, look, but okay, so look, you right? You right. You got me. You busted me. But can we agree on this? Kamala Harris doing this with her campaign,
just like a woman. Because some of you niggas, you be acting just like a woman. Nigga, Reaper keep it 1,000.
Is Kamala Harris doing that? She doing that, ain't she? Come on now. Don't try to call me no misogynist or nothing like that, because y'all know that's what she doing. Shout out to the Reaper. To Reaper kept it 1,000.
It was 5 years ago. No one cares about that. Tell us where you are today. What does that mean? Remind us.
Before we let you go, I want to get your thoughts on an interesting situation developing out of California. Protests forming at the California state capitol after reparations bills are shelved. Here's what one group known as the Coalition for a Just and Equitable California posted on X. Quote, "This type of betrayal cannot go unanswered. There must be a political price to pay. Gone are the days when politicians of any race or party can disrespect Black Americans and expect no political consequences."
Now, what do you guys think about that? Sounds good. Shout out to Tricky Nick. What's good with you, bro? It sounds good. If you guys agree that this sounds good, give me a thumbs up or a flame in the chat. Shout out to Black Free Thinker. What's good with you? Sounds good. I hope people stand on business with it. I hope people do this.
I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
Back here that the browser failed to play the video clip. Yeah, I got a little article from the LA Daily, the LA Daily Time about this reparation situation. I didn't know that they were going to have any information about that in this video, but this is good reference information for that article. Here's my question. What are people's general thoughts about that situation? I think it's very interesting that the Democrats felt confident to be able to do something so egregious while a politician from that state is trying to become president in an environment where Democrat support is slipping at an all-time high and accelerating in favor of Trump at an all-time high. Because whether people like it or not, the facts is that the Trump support amongst black people is accelerating at an all-time high. The polls and information have come out and shown that he's tripled his support. This time last year, they said that he was at about 7%. This year, he's at about 21%. 3 times 7 is 21. Very interesting. Now, mind you, those are small numbers. So somebody might look at that and say, well, that's nothing. But all infections start out as one microbe. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. So I think that that's interesting. And then on the other side, the people that are not supporting Trump, you got the people that are on the couch. And this is definitely, and I always ask the question, well, what would get you off of the couch? I can definitely see this as something keeping people on the couch. If you guys agree, throw some couches in the chat. So this is very interesting, very bad timing. I'm curious as to how they plan on trying to get out of this. I don't know. I don't know. It seems to me like the Democrats are really just trying to like create their own cave-in of any chances of moving forward politically in 2025. Would you guys agree? It seems to me like they're self-sabotaging at this point.
We are not captured. We are the living embodiment of our ancestors who built this state and this country over 400 years and who are owed reparations. We're coming. No, we're here to get our checks and more. Democrats.
Oh, you know what? That's crazy. I just realized something. Yo, you know what? I just realized something. How come the white guy didn't quote Martin Luther King at the end there? Because you know how they like to bring up Martin Luther King all the time? We're coming. No, we're here. We're coming to get our checks and more. Isn't that from the content of your character speech that these folks and people like Vivek Ramaswamy like to recite? Shout out to Vega. What's good with it, Vega? Shout out to my man Patrick. Make sure y'all show Patrick some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat for Patrick for funding the organization. You know what? I might have to do an experiment here. Give me 1 second. Hold on real quick, because I want to try. I'm about to try something real quick. Just hang tight. Hang tight here. Hang tight here now. Hold on real quick. Isn't that from that speech though? Let's just get that together real quick though. That's from the speech, right? And white people know that speech so well. They know it so well that anytime they try to talk against any type of political objective that we're trying to do, they always run forward with the Martin Luther King bumper sticker. But what I'm surprised about and what I'm shocked about and what I'm thoroughly disappointed in Fox News not doing is not flexing more Martin Luther King knowledge like they always do. How dare they? Let me see. Hold on real quick. Get rid of that. All right.
To get the votes, let's be honest. But then they ultimately backtrack in situations exactly like this when it is time to deliver. How will this impact the way specifically black voters treat the Democrat Party on November 5th?
You know what, Todd, I'm going to go a little bit further. They have gone beyond pandering. At this point, they're just straight lying. The fact of the matter is we know that the reparations in which these individuals are seeking is not possible. It's not going to happen. We're not economically positioned to do it. And
well, I guess all the questions are answered about her, aren't they? If all of the questions that you might have had about her have been answered, give me a thumbs up. If they haven't been answered, well, then give me a thumbs down. Looks like they've been answered. Looks like we know what time it is. We know what's going on. We know what's going on. So interestingly, you know, they couldn't really just say too much about the sentiment of black people walking away from Democrats, which is something that Fox News seems to falsely be so concerned about, and they care so much about us, which is one of the reasons why they deny their own familicide and, you know, teachers touching kids all the time and concentrate on issues going on in Chicago. Mind you, one of the cities that didn't make the top 10 most dangerous in the United States, because this is just what they do. They didn't concentrate on that. Talk about people flip-flopping. I don't think that Fox is really qualified to really go in on people flip-flopping all like that anymore. What do you guys think? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down.
And we know that. It seems as though the people who don't know it are those who are advocating for it. And that's either because they're being misled or they're refusing to see the facts that are right in front of them. The truth is, the reparations that we seek as a Black Americans or as any American already exists. It exists in the American dream.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. Because if that's the case, then that means that it's equivalent to what white people got, and what injustice was the American dream for white people. So let's cut the games. Let's cut the games. By that same logic, these people should never complain about people getting government handouts, because government handouts are meant for the same thing that a paycheck is meant for people to spend money. The hell out of here with this nonsense. And this is one of the reasons why when you see all of those people who come in my chat and try to say Robb is a Trump supporter, man, miss me with the nonsense. I could never support Trump while Trump and Trump people support this. Sorry, not sorry. Now, you might be butthurt about the way that I'm talking about Kamala Harris. Get some Preparation H. But aside from that, hey, see that on the screen? That ain't like me. And she not like us. You know what I'm saying?
We have to take advantage of the opportunities that are in front of us. And if we were to advocate for something, we need to advocate for the government to do what the government is supposed to do. And that's to remove barriers to success, to remove all of the red tape and allow us to stretch forward, allow the market to stretch, allow the market to work. If we allow that to happen, we will have our reparations. We have more opportunities today than
How now is that anytime there's an injustice, is that what happens in the court? I guess so sometimes, because I guess the lawyers tend to either shrink or stretch the truth. Since we're talking about so much stretching, interestingly. Somebody else that talks about stretching is Sukihana. But okay, let's continue.
Ancestors could have ever imagined, and we have to embrace that. And I'm tired of them pandering, beyond pandering, just lying, outright lying to us about what can be done and what can't be done. The truth is we cannot do it economically. We need to move forward, and we need.
If we can't do it economically, then we can't pay taxes economically, but because slavery is what caused and what substantiates our racial wealth gap. So if the United States is not if the United States is not capable of satisfying the debt that it created by creating the racial wealth gap, okay, you want to take cash off the table? The only way for us to make that right, which is something that they could do, is we have zero financial liability for anything. We could walk in any store, take whatever we want, not pay taxes, all the above, period. That's economically feasible because you're not paying out any money. So let's miss me with the games. I guarantee you that this woman right here has zero education when it comes to business. And even if she does, she probably hasn't done anything significant with that education. She probably hasn't had a portfolio of investments that have gained significant gains to where somebody would write a nice article about how to diversify. I guarantee you she hasn't innovated or increased the company's profit 15 to 20% or anything to even be in this position to be talking about these economic effects facetiously without any paperwork or any figures on the screen of, quote unquote, the ability of the United States to pay reparations, while you're sitting there talking about a state that literally just granted the ability to pay migrants $150,000 for housing. This is what I'm talking about when I tell you guys that people, sadly, unfortunately, including us, lose their normal human senses and talk in regards to Black people in terms outside of reality. If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. I don't think I read your super chat, Patrick. Sorry about that. Patrick says, stop lying, Robb. Angela Rye says she don't believe it. What facts? Here goes somebody for Angela Rye right here. She said that these people don't exist. Here go one of them right here. All right, let's get it.
To push the government to do what it's supposed to do and stop invading our lives and trying to tell us what they can offer us rather than fight.
There's no bigger invasion in your life in government than slavery, and that's what we're coming for our check for. So you need to see that. Look at that face right there. Let's stop that. Anybody that's a content creator in here that likes to make YouTube videos, or if you're a graphic designer and you like to make thumbnails, make sure you guys take a picture of this very bizarre Walrus-esque face right here. You got about 5 seconds. I'll let you guys get the cameras together, get your screenshots together, get reset back on YouTube. Let me know when you guys are done, and then we'll continue. I don't know what you call this face. What do you guys call this face? What do you call this face right here? She's another one that looks like one of those people from the water world on Star Wars where they cloned Boba Fett. Where they keep finding these people that look like these doggone Jar Jar Binks and all these different characters from these doggone movies. This is what they now look. Hold on, real quick. Matter of fact, I'm about to this now. See, I'm gonna see. I'm gonna show y'all this right here. This right here is yet and still another reason why people are just gonna continue and continue and continue to make YouTube videos, because they're gonna call this some type of woke alien character. Talking about they done turned the alien character black, and the black people didn't exist on this planet or whatever, and they had her on Fox News. You know, the same kind of stuff that they did with the Little Mermaid, just getting all outraged. She looked like that dude that was on that was at that bar on Tatooine with Obi-Wan Kenobi and Luke Skywalker, and Obi-Wan Kenobi had to save Luke Skywalker from him because he's about to beat Luke Skywalker up. He's like, "You'd be sorry, you'd be dead." And then Obi-Wan Kenobi took the lightsaber and you know what I'm saying? She looked like him. Go back and watch the movie. Bet you she do. Y'all might not remember that part, but trust me, you're gonna see that part. You're gonna think about her. Y'all gonna start dying laughing. Now, apparently, the Time magazine is under fire because everybody's just flip-flopping. Everybody kung fu fighting, and the rest of everybody is flip-flopping. So let's see what happened here. I don't know what Time magazine flip-flopped about. It must not have been that monumental because I didn't hear about it. Did you guys hear about it? What they flip-flop about?
We're joining forces to defeat government corruption, restore free speech, and make America healthy again. We're going to make America healthy again, you know? We're a nation that is not doing well in a lot of ways, and we're not doing so well with health. We're going to get toxic chemicals out of our environment, and we're going to get them out of our food supply. We're going to get them out of our bodies.
Mind you, shout out to Trump. This is the guy that also had the wonderful diet advice of none other than drink bleach. Just saying, just so we're clear.
Former President Trump and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. uniting with a mission to make America healthy again. Meanwhile, Time magazine now suggests ultra-processed.
Shout out to everybody that's watching. We doing real good. We got 69 people watching. I appreciate each and every one of you all. And we got 80 likes. Let's try to get the likes to 170. If everybody could take a moment, smash that like button. People that got like enforcer emojis, throw them like enforcer emojis in the chat. Also, please share the stream. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that bell icon twice and subscribe to the channel. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content. And hopefully you get something out of it.
Foods really aren't that bad, despite publishing an article saying the exact opposite just 1 year ago. Here with reaction is Fox News medical contributor Dr. Nicole Saphier. Nicole, before I ask you for the definition of ultra-processed food so we can continue this conversation, the subtitle for that article is Why One Dietitian is Speaking Up for Ultra-Processed Foods. That just seems like such an oxymoron. Why don't you just give us the definition and then we'll have this conversation.
Yeah, some of these articles really are irresponsible in their messaging. And so when we're talking about food, obviously, you know, walking outside, getting your fresh fruits and vegetables and even animal products farm to table is the healthiest thing you could possibly do. But we also have a lot of minimally processed foods like olive oil, tuna fish, you know.
Now, this is hilarious, right? And this is what I get for not watching the videos before I put them together for a live stream. When I just knew when they was talking about a flip-flop, they was talking about Kamala Harris. But instead, apparently what happened is Time wrote an article advocating for highly processed foods, which is absolutely insane and probably really should get a lot of attention because that's wild. Who's going to sit there and advocate for, yeah, you know, just all you need in your life is just a little bit of trans fats and a regular diet of highly processed foods and you'll be fine. Who does that? Who says that? Clearly Time magazine. But I thought this was about Kamala Harris. Now, If you guys are interested in this and you want to finish watching it, give me a thumbs up. If not, we can move on to the next thing, because I actually do have something about Kamala Harris flip-flopping. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, if y'all want to watch it, you know, because this is interesting. This is the type of stuff that I be watching. I be looking at, you know what I'm saying, when I'm not YouTubing. But, you know what I'm saying, if y'all want to watch it, let me know. If y'all don't, we can keep it moving. Shout out to Deneen. Deneen said they want us all dead. Right. They want to see dead people. Right. Black Free Thinker says, go ahead. If y'all with Black Free Thinker and y'all want to, oh, wait, hold on. Deneen says next video. We got to take a vote. Clown faces if you don't want to see it. Fire if you do want to see it. Now, if you guys like this type of content, this is the type of stuff I'll talk about on BLR C19 report. If one of the mods could put the link for the C19 report in the chat, I'd appreciate it. But this is the type of stuff I'll talk about over there. I see 2 clown faces. We done. We done. Deneen won. Another one and another one. AB Promotions. You know what I'm saying?
Again!
Another clown face. You know what I'm saying? Another clown face. Jesse.
Again!
All right, let's get it. So what we're about to do now is we're about to actually look at an article that's actually about Kamala Harris. All right, this one is from the New York Post. Not even Kamala Harris's biggest fans can say what the flip-flopping vice president stands for. I'm going to ask you guys, what does she stand for? So let's check this out real quick. Hopefully this is, let me see, hold on. So yeah, of course we got to listen to, or just have this ad playing up here, because why not, right? It's the same reason why you guys watch ads on my page, because somebody got to get paid out here and somebody got to pay. And it's better for the advertisers to pay than you guys, right? That's why. All right, so this is about 26 seconds. So I'm curious as to what all they put in here in 26 seconds, but we about to find out together.
Can I say I love you and I love you? But as a campaign hack, no. You should be talking to the voters.
Man, why is it always the same archetype of individual, always just loving everybody? This is the fuzzy wuzzy police. Look at him. We got a nice little, you know what I'm saying, fuzzy wuzzy cotton tip rabbit tail hairstyle. Why is that, man? How many people tired of that? Shout out to Hobb. What's good with it, bro? Appreciate you, John. Throw some liking forces in the chat for John. Oh, I just want to tell everybody that I love them. I love you guys all so much. Like, why? I mean, the way that love is given out these days, it kind of makes sense why you don't have to earn it anymore, right? Based on human behavior. This is observations. You know what I'm saying?
Can I say I love you and I love you? But as a campaign hack, no. You should be talking to the voters and barnstorming the way they do. Again, I personally, what I love you all, but I don't want her talking to you all right now. She should be talking directly to the voters and going across the country and doing.
Well, there is risk in talking to us. There's no doubt about that, Amy.
I don't know what that was supposed to prove. Oh, the Democrat pollster defends Harris shunning media. Don't want her talking to you. Now, here's the thing, right? He said that she shouldn't be talking to them because she should be spending time with talking to her constituents. But the only problem is, as far as her talking to her constituents is, has anybody seen her do like a Q&A? Has she done? She's not really doing any Q&A sessions, is she? I haven't seen that, at least. If she is, I'm not aware of it. Supporters of Vice President Kamala Harris are rallying behind her campaign despite admitting they can't say where she stands on most big issues. That's a complete that right there. That is a huge problem. Because what that does is that sets a precedent that shows that as a politician, you don't have to deal with issues and you will still be able to get a competitive base of voters. This right here, this is, to me, if you ask me, this is more indicative. I get the critiques on Kamala Harris. I understand it, right? However, Kamala Harris's issue, if you ask me, is that she's an incompetent performer. This right here is an issue that sheds the light that voters, many of them, are incompetent human beings. This isn't really a Kamala Harris problem. This is a opportunity for Kamala Harris to exploit, and she is exploiting it. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Somebody somewhere, because we know she did a SWOT analysis, and somebody saw, here's a threat. Everybody's stupid. Here's an opportunity. Everybody's stupid. And here we are. You know what I'm saying? Here we are. As the Democratic nominee continues to flip-flop on major policies, which basically means that there's no if you're allowed to unapologetically flip-flop, what that means is that you have transcended the realm of accountability. Would you guys agree? If you all agree that not being held to a standard and being allowed to flip-flop means that you have transcended the realm of accountability. That literally means, for the most part, that you can do whatever you want to without recourse. Once you've established that just you being you is enough to win people votes and that you can do what you want to without recourse, what that means is that at that point, you don't have to do anything for those people. That's the downfall of people voting for Democrats for the last 60 years. Because with that consistent pattern and the absurd and nauseating amount of loyalty, right? The probability of people moving in a different direction is very low. As far as quality control goes on black votes, I bet you they don't even do no type of quality control analysis because they already know anything greater than 51% is a majority. Them getting 70, 80, 90% of the black vote, that's not even strategically advantageous. There should be some people that just sit out just to keep the majority as low as possible so we'll be able to have a margin of swing if we want to, mathematically. But there's not an organized strategy, so you don't really see that happening. And I don't know why there's not an organized strategy. I couldn't tell you, but there's not one. And that's the reality that people need to deal with. Once something has been noticed that it's not there, continuing to complain about it not being there is futile. The only sensible next action is to create it. That's it. And since it hasn't been created yet, what that says is that at this point, for whatever reason, despite all of the things that we see going on in the world, it for whatever reason has not yet become a top priority. Things are top priorities when they're made to exist. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. You can always tell what's not a top priority if you look at what's on somebody's list of things to do versus on their list of things that they've accomplished. That right there is the raw, objective way of seeing what somebody's priorities are. Accomplishments versus to-do list. I want to go back to school, but I bought this nice house. I own the house, but I still got to do some other things to get back to school. Well, you could have used the house money to pay for your tuition. So you'd rather own this house than you would rather go to school. Like, stop talking around these things. This is the living in two realities paradigm that has people's brains looking like Joe Biden at the debate. That does not work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. You cannot simultaneously exist in two states. We don't live in a quantum reality. You know what I'm saying? We don't. So now here it says Harris, who is 59, reversed her stances on energy issues, healthcare, illegal immigration since replacing Joe Biden at the top of the Democratic ticket in an apparent effort to make herself more electable to moderates in key swing states. Now, let me ask you guys this question. She's an adjustable candidate. Would you guys say that? Kamala Harris is an adjustable politician. She's an adjustable. She'll adjust to whatever will help her win. How many people associate integrity with adjustable values? Now, mind you, you guys heard that, right? Adjustable values, flexible values. That's my term. I just made that up. You know what I'm saying? Who feels comfortable with adjustable people? Let me ask you guys a question. What if you got married to somebody and you said, I'm adjustable on fidelity? I'm okay with being faithful to you until somebody that got what I really, really like comes along. Then if they're open to what I got to say to them, I don't know if I really be feeling fidelity all like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, some might just have somebody, you know what I'm saying? I don't think anybody would really be comfortable getting into a relationship with somebody like that. But for whatever reason, people feel like getting in a political relationship with somebody like this. It doesn't make any sense. Let's ask about Kamala Harris's political fidelity. Shout out to John. And he ain't going to be the only one. He ain't going to be the only one. Swagger jacking is at an all-time high on YouTube. It is what it is. These people that got big channels should just keep doing what made them big if they still can. You know what I'm saying? But maybe that's why they don't. Because they can't. That's a whole nother issue. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to go through all of the political infidelities. And that's another term that I just made up. Type it in the chat. Political infidelities. Adjustable values. Adjustable integrity. Flexible integrity. So let's look at these political infidelities. Harris abandoned policy positions. Look at this. Now, I want you guys to pay very close attention because whoever wrote this, they wrote this article with ChatGPT and they didn't spell check it after ChatGPT made spell orders. Harris abandoned policy position. Oh, Harris's abandoned policy. Okay, never mind. That's me. My mistake. Include her pledges to eliminate private health insurance. All right. Decriminalize illegal border crossings. How many people are cool with that? Ban fracking for oil and natural gas and ban the sale of new gas powered cars by 2035. Each of those made in 2019 when the then California senator was seeking the Democratic presidential nomination. In recent weeks, the Post has spoken to several swing state voters who plan to cast ballots for Harris. The majority of them painted a vague picture of what the vice president stands for, pro-choice and the environment. Now, here goes my question. What has Kamala Harris said about the environment? What has she said about the environment? Yo, shout out to John for standing on business, growing the family, growing the organization. Definitely appreciate it, bro. Make sure y'all show John some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat for John for funding the organization.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the March of Dimes.
And standing on business.
I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
You see that? That's what I'm talking about right there. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Ballin'. You know what I'm saying? Added 5 new $1,000 memberships. All them 5 people, I don't know if y'all aware, but y'all gonna be getting $1,000 debited out of your bank account every month. I hope you got it. Hope you got it. Hope you got it. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. making it where I can't see the drop that's playing. It had worked for a quick second and then it stopped. It had worked for a quick second and then it stopped. So now, see, and now everybody, all y'all that got memberships, now y'all be able to see the videos that's on members only, waiting to get approved by YouTube for monetization. You know what I'm saying? And you'll be able to chat when we do members only, or when we got people that's trolling in here, because y'all know how we do when we troll. When they troll, when people come in here and troll, then they gotta pay to say everything that they want. You know what I'm saying? Now it turns into pay for play. So now you got a gifted membership, so now you still be able to talk because somebody else paid so that you could play. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, but the main reason they're backing Harris is because she is not former President Donald Trump, which, if you ask me, that's not a good strategy. How many people think that that's a good strategy? It's a bad strategy. That's that whole enemy of my enemy is my friend stuff. I don't necessarily agree with that, even though it comes from the great art of war. You know what I'm saying? Immigration. I would love to say I believe she is more moderate in terms of immigration, in a sense that she's not like let's let everyone in. Aaliyah Dittman, a 20-year-old college student from Clarion County, Pennsylvania, told the Post when asked about Harris' position on the border and immigration. But I feel like she's kind of similar to Biden, added Dittman, a first-time voter excited about Harris. And that's the difficult thing. As she is still the vice president, she has to pull herself apart from the administration and say, this is what I stand for. And maybe she hasn't done a great job doing that. I don't know how you can do that. And one of the reasons why she hasn't done a good job doing that is because all of her old policy positions literally come right out of the Biden administration playbook, the literal actual Biden playbook. And I'm talking about the Inflation Reduction Act and the CARES Act. These are literal Biden era playbooks that Kamala Harris has taken policies and expanded on. The one for the $25,000 down payment for the house, the quote unquote attempted management of price gouging, all of those. She literally got those out of the Biden playbook and expanded on them, which means that they're no different. They just offer more money, maybe few lines, or give or take a few lines of policy. Then let's not mention she's been taking some of Trump's stuff, the tips and all that. How many people in here trust a flip-flopper? If you trust a flip-flopper, give me a thumbs up. If you do not trust a flip-flopper, then give me a thumbs down. That right there should be the question. And everybody knows the answer to that question. The answer is that most people do not trust or depend on flip-floppers, because being a flip-flopper, being inconsistent, and being undependable are all very closely related. I wouldn't say that they're all exactly the same, but I would say that they're all very closely related. And they're closely related based on not being consistent. The only consistency that Kamala Harris has is inconsistency. Inconsistency is not necessarily the best consistency to have. As a matter of fact, inconsistently consistent is the very pattern that creates the illusion of chaos. Because if you ask me, chaos is not random. Chaos is simply an undetectable pattern, which means that it's not detected because there's so much uncertainty involved, and the actual pattern is the repeated uncertainty. So Kamala Harris is chaotic, predictably unpredictable. The one thing that you can predict about her is her inconsistency and unpredictability. Those are indicators that can help you manage that risk. So to say that that's something random is not mathematically accurate. They can't discuss these things in these terms because it would be horrible for her. There'll be no justification on any of her political career. You know what I'm saying? Harris previously supported decriminalizing border crossing illegally, opposed Trump's wall, and oversaw Biden-Harris administration policies that let in more than 8 million migrants. Now, she says she's for the wall and wants to hire more border agents. Now, if past behavior is any kind of indicator of future action, based on the past 4 years, what could we say about a future 4 years of Kamala Harris? Let me know what you guys think. So here's the flip-flops. They created a color-coded chart. How nice of them. Out, no fracking. In, I want to win Pennsylvania. Green New Deal, no tax on tips. Open borders. I'll guard the wall myself. I don't know what she's going to do except for maybe laugh at people and maybe they get scared and turn around and run away because they, you know what I'm saying, think some type of predatory animal is there waiting to attack after they heard the noises. Mandatory gun buybacks. If you like your gun, you can keep your gun. Socialized healthcare. We don't talk about it or anything else. So there's that. Okay. Dittman also recalled that Harris at the National Democratic Convention talked about the border deal that Trump had told Republicans to shut down so that he would and she would bring that back. Now, mind you, that deal still had a quota of immigrants that it allowed to cross the border daily, if you guys recall. Okay. Similarly, she couldn't define Harris's stance on immigration and wasn't hesitant to say the vice president flip-flopped on the issue. Now, look at this. I think she's staying true to herself. What does that even mean? If she's staying true to herself and her true self is a flip-flopper, you still want to vote for this lady? Honestly, I can't give you a well-rounded answer because I haven't seen her flip-flop. The employee at the Fairfax, Virginia school said. So again, this is what I'm talking about. I got to ask the question, is this a Kamala Harris issue or is this an American population issue? This actually, if you ask me, this puts the spotlight on American people. This puts American people in the public eye, in the global eye of being a majority idiot nation, a majority delusional nation. I mean, you can't make this up. Can you? I haven't been that invested in the news, but what you're going to do is go vote for her. I'll tell you what, if you like to gamble, go to Las Vegas. If you like games of chance, go to the gas station and get a scratch-off ticket. If you want to play with probability and not have any information behind the probability, but you can actually still get information about those things because you can download the lottery app and it'll tell you what tickets still got jackpots, so you just don't buy games that don't have jackpots. But you know what I'm saying? People don't do that because people don't research anything. So why would anybody research that kind of stuff unless you have an alleged quote-unquote gambling problem, which is interesting because they don't call studying a gambling problem. All of these things are done to reduce probability, to reduce effects of uncertainty. These people are literally just embracing uncertainty and saying, well, I don't know anything, but I'm just going to do this. Now, I was always taught to make sure that I planned and had contingency plans. I don't know if the new generation of people that are younger than me are actually doing that nowadays. Quite frankly, I hate to say it. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to help me anyway or not. You know what I'm saying? But for their sake, it might not be a bad idea. It might not be a bad idea, but I don't think that's part of like the culture anymore, to raise people to what we used to call back in the day, prepare for a rainy day. How many people parents told them that? Make sure you got something put away for a rainy day. Your grandmother come grab you. Come give me some sugar now. Come give me some sugar. Make sure you got something here. I'm going to give you a little something before you leave. Take this, put it away for a rainy day now. How many people grandparents said that to them? They give you a little bit of money. Everybody happy to go to their grandparents' house because they know they're finna get some good food and some money. You don't hear that no more. And the reason why you don't hear that anymore, for the most part, if you don't hear it, is mostly basically non-existent anymore. People are living in the moment nowadays, as if that's some type of way to live. You know what I'm saying? So she hasn't been invested in the news while interviewing a news agency. But from what I've seen, knowing about her beginnings as the Attorney General of California to where she is now as the vice presidential candidate, she always seemed to stay true to herself. Again, what does that mean? What does that mean? Staying true to yourself. What? Somebody tell me, what does that mean? She's just true to herself. Is she? What is true to herself?
Just like a woman. That's because some of you niggas, you be acting just like a woman. Nigga, Reaper keep it 1,000.
I'm just saying. I don't know what she's doing. I don't watch the news. I don't know anything. But the one thing that I do know out of the nothing that I know is that she's just true to herself.
Just like a woman. That's because some of you niggas, you be acting just like a woman. Nigga, Reaper keep it 1,000.
I guess. Shout out to the Reaper for keeping it 1,000. Kamala Harris ain't. She's not keeping it 1,000. What is true to what does true to Kamala Harris look like? True to Kamala Harris looks like existing in multiple dimensions and in simultaneous realities at the same time, where you can literally be massive amounts of different people doing opposite things. That's what that looks like. Looks like a funhouse mirror. Because how do you do it? Somebody explain how this looks. Explain how this plays out. Explain the criteria on which she changes position. Again, it's a different story if she comes out and says, I looked at this study, that study, and I've noticed XYZ changes over time. She didn't give any explanation for any of these changes that she had. There's a difference between flip-flopping and actually giving an explanation. Okay, well, this study just came out, and I've studied this study. I looked at things substantiating it, yada, yada, yada. You know what I'm saying? And basically, you know, I think I'm going to change course on this because I was convinced by the evidence that was presented to me from XYZ study. To me, giving an explanation like that is not the same as flip-flopping. Flip-flopping is literally going for whatever is good in the moment without any substantive research other than how the switch benefits you in the situation. That is my definition, and I'm pretty sure that's the generalized definition of flip-flopping. You got to give these definitions, though, because we live in the intellectual dishonesty era, and there'll be somebody that will be screaming on a video, literally saying that Rob said that flip-flopping is okay because we can make sound bites and take little video cuts on TikTok, and because the same people that vote for Kamala Harris and say that she's just true to herself are the people that undyingly support social media content creators. They're all like lemmings and seals and will clap using their wrists bent down, hitting their wrist bone together. Because that's the kind of society that we've created, cultivated, and modernized. A modern day sea world. We live in an actual sea world with dolphins and people clapping fins and all kind of stuff. It's ridiculous. Except for in this sea world, the animals are training the people. You know what I'm saying? In this sea world here, The animals are training its people. You got Shamu teaching people how to clap. Shamu sitting there talking about clap. Like, for real? Seriously? People ought to be ashamed of themselves of how dumb they are. You know, you can look at somebody and tell somebody might be a little bit out of shape. It's not until somebody opens up their mouth that you can tell if their brain is out of shape or not. They can always hide that until they open up their mouth. And that's one of the reasons why they don't want Kamala Harris to open up their mouth. That's why they're trying to come with these excuses for her to not hit the debate. All right. We're going to take a look. We're going to finish that article tomorrow. All right. But let me see. Hold on real quick. This video here substantiates that talking point. And it got your boy Byron Donald. You know what I'm saying? You know, Byron, Jim Crow, no reparations, Donald. You know what I'm saying? He is going to say some interesting things about Kamala Harris that I actually agree with. All right. And again, Byron Donald, another reason why I could never rock with any of this type of stuff, because you literally have to sell yourself out completely, say silly stuff to make white people feel good, like Jim Crow was a genius creation that white people made to advance black people in society. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, seriously? Really? Bruh? Are you out your doggone mind? You sound insane. How can you say that and actually call yourself a coherent, non-knuckle dragging human being? How can you call yourself an upper level primate saying something so stupid? But those are the kind of things that the people over there want you to do. Now, you might have the right answers in the book as far as policies and stuff like that goes. But if your leader feels the same way as you, there's no place for me over there, and I'm perfectly fine with that. But what you'll find interesting about that is that it's not people over there that will be the ones that will try to frame you with some type of association with those people, because you're showing inconsistencies in these people that actually have ill intent for us. It's best if them type of people like Byron Donald, it's probably best if they never found out about me. They're never going to want to react to a video. They're never going to want to try to address anything that I say, because it's virtually impossible. So the best course of action is just to ignore it, act like I don't exist, which would make sense. But it's people that actually want you to vote against your interest that want to try to place you on one side versus the other in a paradigm where on both sides we're on the outside and blocked out. They want you to not believe that you're locked out and blocked out. They want you to believe that some of these political parties actually embrace you. If you just accept a little small amount of racism, you know, we'll joke around here and there. Others of us will, you know, take groups of you and give a bunch of you guys money and use the rest of you for our mascot of poverty. Just accept it. It'll be okay. Shout out to DeAndre. Throw the 100s in the chat. We hit the 100 likes. Let's go for 160. If you guys haven't smashed the like button, take a moment, smash that like button. If you guys haven't hit the bell, take a moment, hit the bell. And also, please share this stream to your social media. Now, and I think the thing is that these things about these people and how pathetic and cowardly they are, they should be talked about in the open, because these people are pathetic cowards. You shouldn't get to hide behind, like Tim Vance or like JD Vance says, stolen valor. Stolen valor. Stolen valor, like saying you discovered America. Stolen valor, like saying George Washington was a great guy with good integrity. Stolen valor, like acting like Abraham Lincoln didn't have WS sentiments. Stolen valor of people of integrity, of which those people have zero provable integrity. Stolen valor.
We're back with a Fox News alert. A vigil will be held tonight here in New York City for the 6 hostages found dead in Gaza just days ago. An IDF spokesman says the body of American Hersh Goldberg Poland.
Shout out to AW1. I appreciate it, bro. Make sure you guys throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat for AW1 and some like enforcers for enforcing those likes. And if you guys haven't liked, y'all know what to do.
And 5 others were, quote, brutally murdered, possibly a day or two before troops discovered them. Hamas abducted all 6 on October 7th. Our next guest has been sounding the alarm on the importance of supporting Israel. GOP Congressman Byron Donalds joins us.
Now, look, I want you guys to pay attention to Byron Donald. He's going to crash out for the blue and white. He's going to crash out for them nano hats. You know what I'm saying? He's going to crash out for them sombreritos. Now, here go my question. Shout out to the people that watch Kid Gravity. Y'all ever see that clip that Kid Gravity plays? It's a drop, and it has that lady from Fox. It's from the live stream where he had called into my live stream. That live stream was a video where we were talking about Tim Scott crashing out for the sombreritos, right? Now, Tim Scott or Byron Donald will never crash out for self, but they'll crash out for the groups that these people tell them to be able to go to the barbecue where they don't have any condiments at. They don't cook the meat all the way through, and they ain't got no condiments there. And it's a constellation prize that you got to do to get into it, which I don't know why you would do anything other than drive past it and make sure you delete it off of your navigation so you never even make the mistake of stopping there and even asking to pee on the front porch. But this is what he want to do. So, you know what I'm saying? We're going to take a look.
Now, Congressman, thanks for joining us this morning. It's tragic news. All these lives are of equal importance, but one of them was an American. Now we have 4 Americans that have been found dead and 4 still captive. What pressure does this put on the Biden-Harris administration to get our citizens home?
First, it's good to be with you. I would say these tragic events that have now happened in Gaza, the Biden-Harris administration needs to allow Israel to do the job of finishing Hamas. This has been the situation really since October 7. Israel has been prepared to do everything it can to get the hostages back. But it's been slow walked in part because of this response from Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. They have been pressuring Israel, not allowing Israel to do what is necessary. And it is unfortunate that when you have a terrorist group like Hamas that hides behind women and children, they hide behind civilians. They do this all the time. But all the dithering from this administration, from Kamala Harris, from Joe Biden, that's the weakness that leads to the death of hostages. There needs to be an immediate change in strategy from this White House.
Yeah, we need more than anything. I want to see our government try to get our people home. And I don't think that's too much to ask in any scenario. But this crisis in Israel happens in the backdrop of what's happening in our country right now, which is we have an election. We have 2 people running for president, and there couldn't be a more stark contrast between the 2. You're also hitting the road to campaign for former President Trump. I also want to bring in Black Conservative Federation founder Deontay Johnson. He's got more about this bus tour that they are launching. Deontay, tell us about it.
I thought race didn't matter. This is supposed to be race don't matter TV. Why are they so race obsessed on Fox? Does that make any sense? I mean, aren't these guys just conservatives? Race doesn't matter. Let me ask you guys this question. How do you have a Black conservative in a colorblind society like what these Heritage Foundation folks want or these Manhattan Foundation folks want? Hey, Chris Rufo, if you want to, you can hit the link and I'll give you the worst verbal beating that you've ever had in your entire life. But the one thing that I'd like you to ask, and I'd like you to ask any of these people, is how do you have a black conservative in a colorblind society? Somebody explain that to me. And I'd like a top Black conservative to address that. I guess the shiny little label of being a good Negro will wash away in a colorblind society, which is one of the reasons why you have to be so race obsessed and call yourself a Black conservative. Because if you simply talked about fiscal conservation and conservative policies like border control, I think it would be very obvious to people that you are a conservative or somebody that leans to the right. So why concentrate on Black? It's nothing but something negative to them people anyway. Because, I mean, these people have been conservative all their lives, right? They went to the school in the suburbs. They hang around the people that they hang around. And then when they get onto social media, they became Black. They went from being a conservative to becoming Black. I've known these people forever, like Carlton Banks, as a conservative. But then when they get on YouTube, they become a Black conservative perspective. They got more in common with Kamala Harris than they think.
So we're meeting voters exactly where they are, going to the communities, reaching out to black men. Black men are a very important target this election cycle. So we're going to them. We're going to barbershops. We're going to the communities. We're having conversations on that.
Unarmed black men are also a target, very important target by the police as well. What do you plan on doing about that? Now, I'll tell you what, I would be more than happy to go to one of these black conservative functions. And I want to go there and I want to ask them, what are you doing to make sure that black men get the same things as white men are getting in society? Now, you know what's funny? They'll tell me, stop concentrating on color. Then I'm going to ask them, does the sign in front of this room say black conservative meeting? I didn't write the sign. I'm supposed to stop concentrating on color? The reason why I asked, are you guys going to get us what these other men are getting, is because it's only black conservatives here. There's nobody else. And I didn't send out the invitations either. And this is one of the reasons why it's a thin line between a pro-black and a coon. You're going to invite me to the black conservative shindig, and then when I get there and say, is this where the black conservatives are, tell me to stop being so race obsessed. Hey, man, that's what I put in the navigation because that's what was on the invitation. You know what I'm saying? So what we doing here?
Economics. We're having conversations comparing 2019 Donald Trump and 2019 Kamala Harris. When you put both together, it's not a good thing for Kamala.
Congressman Donalds, you're in Florida, and that's a place that shows there is no monolithic group of people that vote one way or the other. You've got elderly people in Florida.
That's not true. There is a monolithic group, and I hate to say it, and everybody's going to be mad, and a few people that newly subscribed are going to unsubscribe, but y'all will deal with it. Y'all will be back. There is a monolithic group of people. When people vote at 90%, those are Lysol ratios. If you bought a antibacterial that killed bacteria at the same rate that black people vote for Democrats, you would buy that antibacterial wipe, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? Why? Because it has a high percentage of doing what it's expected to do, which is kill bacteria. Black people have a high percentage of doing what studies show black people do. Vote Democrat. 91% is beyond a monolith. 91% is a diamond pyramid. So now this is Fox, where Fox literally talks at black people and tells black people to not be Democrats and not be liberals. The Fox white people are the ones that started the talking point of the quote unquote Democrat plantation because their grandparents owned it. You know what I'm saying? But then, right, they're also saying you're all monoliths. You all commit 13% of the we're 13% of the population and commit 55% of the crime. And then they get two conservatives who apparently we need to be told that they're black because we can't see that because I guess they just been identifying so hard as conservative that they just became black to then explain how we're not all a monolith. When we're explaining against mathematics because mathematics says that we are a monolith. So again, these are the people allegedly of truth and reality, literally talking against reality. Right. Shout out to AB. They were conservative, right? Because a conservative movement is something like we are the people, right? We the people. But something happened, and then you go from conservatives to libertarians. And then there's this group like Candace Owens and these people, Thomas Sowell and Larry Elder, and they just became black in a colorblind society that they say doesn't exist as they call themselves black. See? See how that works? See how that works?
You got South Florida, which is largely Hispanic. You've got every race and ethnicity there. People move there from all over the country. But there's been a red wave in Florida. The politics in Florida have moved to the right as people have moved to Florida. What can this bus tour do and this this coalition do to show that there isn't some monolithic ideology among Black Americans or urban Americans or any group of Americans?
Well, according to Fox, Fox is, again, debunking their own talking points because for years they have came with the argument that criminality and degeneracy are the monolithic ideology amongst Black people. These are talking points that come specifically from the belly of Fox News. So now all of a sudden you got some conservatives that just one day woke up and decided to turn Black conservatives, and they're going to somehow debunk all your years of news media work. So again, what did I say in the last video? In the last video, I said, I don't think that Fox News is really the place that's really qualified to be calling out flip-flopping, because once we start putting a microscope on what goes on at Fox News, their card house will fall possibly faster than Kamala Harris. And look what's happening. They're failing.
What it does is going to bring key information to voters who, frankly, are craving it. Everybody knows what Donald Trump wants to do. People remember the Donald Trump economy, but they're hiding Kamala Harris from the voters. Obviously, the interview the other day did not go well for her and for her team.
Now, this part here, what he's saying, I actually agree with. Starting here, I agree with what he's saying. I do agree that Kamala Harris is absolutely strategically being kept away from and being hidden from the voters. And again, that's risk management. If you keep her away and if you keep her idle, she's not able to do anything to create further exposure because she's already like 75% exposed. If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down.
From the voters. Obviously, the interview the other day did not go well for her and for her team, so they hide her. So we got to take this information straight to people. How was the economy when Donald Trump was president? Significantly better economy. Were our cities secure? Was our country secure at the southern border? Absolutely. And like we talked at the top of this interview, what was happening around the globe? Were there conflicts all over the place when Donald Trump was president? No, there was not. There was peace.
Yes, there was conflicts. There was absolutely conflicts. Now, there might not have been any official wars. We had Kim Jong-un just deciding to, test nuclear missiles all the time. If I'm not mistaken, there was the assassination attempt on Nicolas Maduro. There was a successful assassination attempt on, if I'm not mistaken, a nuclear scientist in Iran and a Saudi Arabian journalist. There was the siren bombing that took place in Syria. It was lit. It was all kind of stuff going on. Matter of fact, the world is lit almost all the time. People just don't know about it because they don't really talk about geopolitics in the United States because, for the most part, geopolitics is like critical race theory. If you're an American, more than likely you're responsible for and benefit from geopolitical turmoil. So America doesn't like to hear about it. So instead of talking about it, we'll just talk about something else. Same way white people don't like to talk about racism because their grandparents are the ones who created their mountains of wealth based on racism. So because that makes us butthurt, we'll talk about something else. Domestic policy of racism, foreign policy of geopolitical turmoil. These are how America built its empire. Who wants to sit there and listen to that all day? I would, because I'd make videos and talk about it. And I'd talk to and interview some of them people from them places. But most people don't really want to hear that because they want to live in a delusional world. That's why it's called the American dream. It's called an American dream because at some point you will wake up from it, whether you want to or not.
Through strength around the world. That message has to go through everywhere. The BCF bus tour is going to help accommodate that mission.
Deontay, Congressman Donalds, thank you both. It's amazing to believe that issues that are affecting Americans could be important to all Americans. And I think you all are spreading.
Actually, I don't think that that's interesting at all. I believe that there's a very small standard deviation between each human group and that we're not very different. It's actually legacy white European scientists. You, the guy in the middle, based on the way that the group of people that you come from has treated the majority of people that they come in contact with, and all of the writings of people like Charles Darwin in the book that's called Downfall of Man and the Bell Curve, it's actually you all who culturally believe that. So this is, again, something that we see a lot of people do. In this instance, we're seeing this individual do it here, a projection of negativity of his own traits onto other people to attempt to normalize himself and not seem as bad. That's almost as pathetic as Kamala Harris. You know what I'm saying? So, ladies and gentlemen, players and pimps, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Shout out to the 2 stream sponsors. Definitely appreciate it. Y'all know what it is. Can't do it without y'all. Shout out to my man, Patrick Tyler. Definitely appreciate you, bro. Shout out to my man, John Guillory. And shout out to everybody that came out. Hope to see you guys in the next stream. If you don't move a muscle and wait till the music takes you all the way out, it'll take you into the next scheduled content. And we got some clips that should be playing later on tonight. Hopefully you guys enjoy those. And I will see you all bright and early at 9:55 a.m. tomorrow. And as always, ladies and gentlemen,